We are playing Sherlock Holmes, Lost Cases. Oh, Lost Cases of Sherlock Holmes. First episode we got these 3 done, and now we're on to the purloined painting. So I am really excited to get back to this. I was going to play yesterday, but my software wasn't working correctly, so I had to reconfigure it. And then I ran out of time to record. A priceless painting mysteriously vanished from Lord Pettibrook's art gallery. To Holmes, a stolen treasure is just an ordinary crime. But then it reappeared, and now the mystery is something extraordinary.
Lord Pettibrook, your message to Baker Street mentioned a stolen painting, but nothing is missing from this exhibit gallery.
Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson, I assure you, a priceless painting was mysteriously stolen last night during a society party. But now it has just as mysteriously reappeared.
Interesting. A priceless painting returned is even more singular than a priceless painting stolen.
If we discover who returned it and why, we'll discover who stole it in the first place. Then we could ask him.
Sorry,
Or her. Never underestimate a woman's potential. Lord Pettibrook, who were the party guests that stayed overnight in the mansion? Only they could have accessed this room first last night, then a second time today.
Everyone deafened, I am sorry. Let me see if I can. I literally cannot turn this down anymore. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I don't want to be deafened. Okay, we're just looking for clues now. Painting. Is that, whatever that. And remember, we need to look out for. Oh, that's cute. Painting. Oh, that is trippy. Dun dun dun. We need to look for Sherlock's pipe and his hat. In these. That little mouse is something else. Oh. Don't know what that was. Here we go. Oh, I forgot. I put it that, they don't talk about the characters till the end. Which is helpful. Oh, now it won't be completely. Hey, Mouse, you got a handkerchief? It looks like kind of like a hamster, but with a really long tail. It looks like Abraham Lincoln. Because now I'm like super paranoid after last episode where everything was on, like, pretty much everything's on the one statue. And making sure that I can't see it. Because some of these are also hidden off to the corner. I don't know if that's just a bug or what. But last episode we were trying to find, I think it was a candle or something like that. And it was off the screen. Oh, that's different. Handkerchiefs seem to bear some kind of colored markings. Let's see what we can make. Move and rotate the handkerchiefs to align them and reveal the secret symbol. Handkerchiefs can be rotated by right-clicking on them. I think that's that. It's tea and tea and a paw. What else? We need to find a feather duster and locksmith tools. Curious, curious. Feather duster. Hello, feather duster. Wait. There and then. Here's the locksmith. Now we need to find the feather duster. I'm gonna do this because towards the end. There it was. I need to save time because towards the end, we're gonna need as much time as possible. So let's read these. Harkson, the butler, carried those champagne glasses during the party. Those are Lady Frederica Appleby's scars. She's a frequent visitor and rival art collector who envies my collection with alarming passion. Those are Lutton's keys, the night watchman. He was on guard during the party and known to be fond of a free drink. I think, if I'm not mistaken, in this, the painting that does get returned is a fake. And we find that out towards the end, but I'm not sure. All the locks in the mansion are being replaced. This gallery's locks were scheduled for today. Mr. Bailey, the local locksmith, is in the cast wing parlor with the overnight guest, if you wish to question him. Those feather dusters belong to Mrs. Petrie, the cleaning woman who has tended this gallery for years. I suspect that she is romantically involved with Mr. Bailey. Mr. Bailey was the locksmith. My grown son, Reginald, must have left those brushes here in the city. He has a reputation of being a Casanova with a mountain of gambling debts. But over the past few years, he has demonstrated a promising talent in painting. TT, the calling card of Tiger Tyler, the notorious high society forger and blackmailer that Scotland Yard has been unable to capture. Lord Pettybrook contains rather disreputable guests. Well then, what you doing, boy? Spirit gum bottle. This? This? What is spirit? Some of these are just too out of place for you to not notice them. That was a spirit gum bottle. Golden frame. This? This appears to be a copy of the original painting. Here, see, this is what I'm talking about. We have to actually look through the entire painting to find the mistakes. Some of them are obvious. Some of them not so much. Yeah, the name was different. I mean, I could hit solve later. I don't want to. Oh my gosh, that little bit of tree, seriously? Why are you being so slowly? 3 paintbrushes. Oh, try that. There it is. There we go. Now we got all our suspects. It is indeed a copy of the original, but I now doubt the authenticity of the painting hanging in the gallery. Okay, now we go back here. Now we're going... We only have 2 women this time. That's interesting. Blue eyes. Excuse me.
Perfectly splendid.
Yay! We did it. That ringing was loud. Okay, lock, key, duster, paint, scarf, glasses, sandwich, handkerchief, and glass.
Yes. Righto.
Righto.
Nice work. Nice work. Nice work.
That's exactly how detectives do in real life.
That's it.
They line up all their suspects in a row in different
Righto.
categories, and then they just do that.
Righto.
Oh my gosh, he was the art curator all along! It's never the butler, even though it's supposed to be always
The culprit
butler.
is Professor Eccleston, also known as the infamous Tiger Tyler the Forger. Black market collectors would pay a fortune to have the painting, but no one is foolish enough to possess the painting while Scotland Yard is on the hunt for it.
So Tyler blackmailed young Reginald, whose liaisons would scandalize the social register, into creating a perfect copy. During last night's party, he removed the original from the exhibit room.
But Lutton the night watchman and Harkson the butler snuck into the room to enjoy the champagne, interrupting the substitution.
I see. So today, before the gallery's locks might be changed, the so-called professor hung the forgery in the exhibit room.
Yes, haste was essential. So we left, leaving the painting askew. The original we will find hidden behind the secret panel in the studio. Of course, I spotted the forgery immediately.
How is that possible?
Elementary. Young Reginald is skillful, but he erred in one detail. He misspelled the artist's signature. Congratulations!
How did you know where it was? When Kew Gardens becomes deadly, only Holmes can get to the root of the mystery.
Mr. Holmes, 2 days ago my husband, retired police inspector Robert Hardigan, was rushed to hospital after collapsing during our monthly visit to the Royal Botanical Gardens at Kew.
What is his condition?
He is unconscious, and his face is inflamed and terrible to see.
Has his doctor determined the cause?
He is dying from an allergic reaction to a bee sting on the cheek.
That's tragic, but I must say, not mysterious.
I suspect darker deeds are involved. You see, my husband was never allergic to bees. As far as the authorities are concerned, the case is closed. But my husband has spoken highly of working with you, Mr. Holmes, so I hope that you can either confirm or refute my suspicions.
Bloodhound Hardigan was an exceptional police officer. He placed the entire Talbot gang behind bars 15 years ago. Only the gang's leader, William the Flytrap Talbot, escaped justice from Hardigan's hand. Since then, your husband has tried to locate Talbot, whom your husband would recognize on sight, but to no avail.
I deduce that we are off to Kew Gardens to examine the scene of Inspector Hardigan's collapse.
We leave at once.
Alright.
Ah, as I requested, here comes Dr. Diano, the chief botanist.
I guess I'm the chief botanist. No, this is different. It didn't start off with the, find the difference. That is pruning shears. That is pruning shears. I will fight you on that. Elephant gun. What? There's a gun? Please show me the place where the body is found. Please don't talk loud. Please don't talk loud. Oh, like, oh no, here it comes. I was ready for it. That's rusted. Oh, it's a snaky snake. It's a snaky boy. Lost light. Let it go. Another spade. That's a shovel, right? There's a lot of snakes in here. Do you see a spade? It was the shovel. This blowgun is quite singular. I deduce that if we match up the markings, we may be able to tell more about it. We did it. There is no This is no ordinary blowgun. I've seen these markings somewhere before. That's everything. This bag of thorns, they're all identical. Doctor, they are not. Please allow me to use it. works here at the gardens. Turned over a new leaf, you might say. I use those tweezers to pollinate the plants by hand. That is our sole method by pollinating the plants. Handkerchief and handbag belong to Mist. Something Chase, most devoted of our garden ladies. She often leaves something behind as an excuse to return for it after hours. Oh, those pruning shears belong to the eldest gardener, Mr. Winlock Tuttle. Almost said turtle. It was Tuttle who found Mr. Hartigan here on the floor, then told his wife that the ghastly cheek wound was a bee sting. He is of course mistaken, as I allow no bees here this season. Captain Seymour, a world-traveling collector of exotic species, uses the helmet and gun in his daily lectures to the garden ladies. It adds singular thrill to his tales of foreign adventure. The spades belong to my assistant, Dr. Cleek. An innovative chemist. Our more exotic species thrive in his new fertilizer compound. Made of people. No, those paintbrushes must belong to the local flower artist, Emile Ducat. He has been here every day for the past week. Oh, look at Mr. Colleen's brother. Mr. Make You Not Aliver. Heavens, the cap and gloves belong to a brute named Malcolm Hoog, who assaulted poor old Mr. Tuttle this morning. Ooh. Unfortunately, he escaped police custody. Before they could make him explain his actions, Mr. Tuttle was only slightly wounded. Years ago, Malcolm Hoog was a violent thug in the Talbot gang. Oh. Just 1 month ago, after serving 15 years in prison, he was released back into society. I'll return those flasks to Mr. Ronald Chase. He calls them unnecessary accessory for tolerating his garden visits with the missus. He's a former policeman and not a pleasant fellow.
This thorn comes from our rarest specimen. According to Captain Seymour, the native tribesmen who cultivate it use its venom in diluted doses as an anesthetic. But in concentrated doses, it's more lethal than a cobra bite.
We were speaking of Afghan nomads. They call this thorn the Finger of God, and it is unique to the mountain pass of Kuski Nakud. Holmes, no bee sting killed Hartigan. Find out who used that blowgun and one of these thorns, and you'll find your man.
Hold on. He went from dying in the hospital to being dead. Did I miss something? Did I miss something when I looked down? Arranged people, yeah? We got one lady this time. Flower. Any more people with flowers? They all have flowers.
Perfectly splendid.
Now that we've correctly arranged the suspects, we shall eliminate them one by one to reveal the true culprit. Let us review the evidence that implicated each subject. Excuse me. Brush, bag, gun, spade, cap, flask, tweezer, shears, gloves.
That's it.
Oh.
Yes.
It was
Perfect.
the gardener. It was the gardener with the shears in the garden room. Actually, I don't know what room it was. And now they're gonna talk super loud, so I'm just gonna pull my earbuds out now.
The culprit is Winlock Tuttle, the old gardener. Further, I guarantee that Tuttle is, in fact, William the Flytrap Talbot, who has been working and plotting at Kew Gardens incognito.
What tipped you off?
2 clues presented themselves. First, it was Tuttle who identified Inspector Hartigan's cheek wound as a bee sting, whereas any gardener employed at Kew would know that Dr. Diano permits no bees there to interfere with his careful pollination by hand. Obviously, Talbot hoped to end any investigation with a simple, and to an outsider, logical solution.
I see. And Malcolm Hogue's assault on Tuttle probably stems from a long-standing grievance between Talbot and his formerly incarcerated subordinate.
Come, Watson, let's inform the police that Talbot is found, and that he shall also lead them to Hoag's whereabouts.
You go alone this time, Holmes. I'm off to Inspector Harrigan's bedside with my old army medical bag. I suspect that I'm the only doctor in London who knows the precise cure for his allergy. Together he and Mrs. Harrigan will see Talbot finally sent to prison.
Congratulations.
How did he die? I mean, how did he go from dying to dead to about to be cured? Or am I missing something? The great detective faces the supernatural, dangerous, and parts.
Miss Jackson, I understand that you're an American journalist and, what was that again?
A spook spoiler. I'm researching a New York Times feature, one that shall expose the tricks and schemes that phony spiritualists use to exploit the public's fascination with the supernatural. Seances and phantoms and all that rubbish.
I have no interest in such things myself, so why come to me?
2 nights ago, I was writing in my room up on the 4th floor of the Whittington boarding house in Russell Square. Suddenly, my window flew open and in leapt a short and devilish creature, glowing an unearthly green and accompanied by a cloud of foul smoke.
Indeed.
It leapt onto my writing desk, snatched my manuscript, and dropped a single tarot card, the death card. It then returned to the window and disappeared, even though there's a 4-floor drop to the cobblestones below.
Might you've been dreaming? A woman with a writer's imagination.
I was as alert as I am here before you. Not only did the experience frighten me, but the death card is obviously a threat of some sinister nature.
It sounds like some sort of demonic visitation. Superstitious twaddle, isn't it, Holmes?
No mere superstition in this instance. Who or what is threatening you, and why, Miss Jackson? You said the Whittington board house, 4th floor, correct? Dr. Watson and I shall accompany you there.
It was a really good episode. Huh? That's really... Shall we take a closer look? 11 masks. That count? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a monkey. Oh my gosh, is it the monkey? Did the monkey do it? Did he like cover the monkey in stuff? So good. Miss Jackson, that's seance in the room above yours. This invitation says that you may bring guests to witness the great the person with the great Sherlock Holmes an idea. What? We be doing some sneaking, right? That works. Is that a bell? Nope, that's a face. It would be helpful to examine the contents of this trash more carefully. Oh. That. Not a real look, is it? Wait, here it is. I found it. I'm not good. Okay, I was like,
Well done indeed.
handbag, newspaper, bell, key, eye, rose, poster, envelope, hat.
Yes,
Okay, I was like, wait, what was it again? Done it.
that's it. Righto.
Did I guess it? Was it him with the monkey? Hold up.
The so-called demon was in fact an assistant to the great Carswell. I suspected an experienced stage magician when I saw the cunning compound of phosphorus that left glowing stains.
And that foul-smelling smoke is a common magician's trick, to confound the viewer and obscure the trickery.
After his friend Mr. Males told Carswell about the exposé Miss Jackson was writing, Carswell disguised his trained pet monkey as the glowing devilish horror. He then sent it to her room to steal her manuscript and frighten her off the story.
My article would reveal the tricks used by so-called mediums like Mr. Carswell, whose bank account has fattened considerably thanks to the likes of Lady Alice Porter and her millionaire husband.
I saw Carswell's last stage show. In a desperate attempt to save his legitimate career, he had added a macaque to his act. Truly, it was hard to discern who was the master on stage, the magician or the monkey.
But the monkey came through my 4th floor window. How did he ascend to such a height?
He didn't. Carswell merely lowered the beast down on a rope attached to the hook above Mr. Male's window. The odorous smoke helped hide its climb back up to the room above yours. One more thing before we leave you, Miss Jackson. Here is your manuscript, complete and undamaged. I found it in Mr. Male's room. I suggest you deliver it to your newspaper at the earliest opportunity. Congratulations!
Woo, we did it! Dang! I feel like I can finish these.
Mr. Holmes, my father, Byron Tutwell, Esquire, succumbed to heart failure in his beloved private library at Tutwell Manor. A bibliophile and eccentric, he loved books and word games.
As I recall, his hobby was running the Chesterfield bookshop in the Marylebone district near Baker Street.
His last act was to hide his will, saying that his entire estate and all his assets will belong to anyone, family or not, clever enough to find the will. He gave no clues. He only joked that where there's a will, there's a way.
And a punster, too. Heavens.
Now someone has ransacked the library, and the police cannot find the will.
I wonder, has someone stolen the will to claim it later? Miss Tutwell, if you would show us your father's private library, we shall begin there.
Doggy! That's open. As if the dude was like up. Keys with letters engraved on his shirt. What does that mean? Select pairs of letters to swap their position and scramble the word to reveal the key. Oh. Are you serious? You expect me to figure this out? Oh. Oh, it just... I was like, please no. Okay, well...
Miss Tutwell, you shall accompany me and Dr. Watson to the bookshop.
Why do you need me there?
Because, like your brother, you would gain much from...
And now we need a spear, which is right here, and 2 quills. Oh, that was one. And that one? What's this? These appears to be the same quills used to etch out the series of figures here. Perhaps another word game. Look at the letters next to the figures on the book spines. Oh, here we go. Why? What? No, I want the H. No. Where? There's... freeze again, Holmes. Time to do this. Let's go. Is a ducky. Does have a collar? Curly hair.
I must say, that was excellent.
Thank you. Script, paper, fruit dougie, wine, spear, keys, flower, safe, spade. Oh.
Righto.
Yeah.
Perfect. You got it. Perfect.
I think it's the dog. Like, oh,
Yes.
I think the lady gets in. And then
Nice work.
the dog gets it. Oh,
Righto.
it wasn't her. Oh, it
Righto.
was the butler all along. I'm ready for the meal. Here we go.
Jameson the butler staged the break-in, hoping to find the will, but he gave himself away by leaving the safe open.
Since Tutwell entrusted only Jameson with its combination, and Tutwell is dead, Jameson may as well have left his own signature on the wall. Simplicity itself.
So Jameson found the will.
Not at all. He found the safe filled with old books.
But then, where is the will?
Elementary. Remember, where there's a will, there's a way. Miss Tutwell, Dr. Remember Tutwell's clue? Where there's a will, there's a way? Let us more closely examine that illustration from Alice's Adventures in Wonderland.
We're looking for Shakespeare. Now we're looking for Skip. A book. A broomstick.
Miss Tutwell, smash that good egg, Mr. Shakespeare, with that hammer, if you please.
And there's the will.
My father's will! But my father intended his fortune for anyone clever enough to find the will. Congratulations, Mr. Holmes. That obviously would be you.
On the contrary, Miss Tutwell, the will is yours. After all, you were the only person clever enough to invite me into this case. Congratulations.
Oh man. The curse of what? A man fit? Oh. Oh, okay. The Egyptian wing of the British Museum, Dr. Lawrence Carstairs was discovered insane with the fear and repeating the words, the name of the mummy laid out on his slab. Who or what struck down the curious archaeologist? I got time for this.
Lord Cavenshaw, are you honestly telling us that your colleague, the eminent archaeologist Dr. Carstairs, was struck insane by a 3,000-year-old mummy's curse here within the British Museum?
I say only that Lawrence Carstairs was found on the floor of his study laboratory within the Egyptian wing, found babbling and insane with fear. He keeps repeating the words Ananthotep, the name of the mummy laid out on his slab.
What happened to Carstairs that drove him mad while he was studying the mummy? Do you suggest that the curse of Ananthotep, or the rumored 3,000-year-old religion devoted to his return, struck Carstairs down?
Ancient curses? Magical cults? Bah! Mr. Holmes, I wish desperately to avoid publicity. Carstairs' crackpot theories did enough damage to the exhibit's reputation.
And to the fortune you invested into it.
Okay. So some guy supposedly went mad from the curse of mummies. Oh. It was different. Egypt's infamous tomb of the tyrants. Delivered here by the museum's mysterious expert in Egyptian mysticism, Ardak Bey. Those pith helmets belong to Elmira Gwyn, an explorer and adventuress. It was she who first told Carstairs that Untitled destroys anyone who disturbs his sleep, according.
Lord Cavenshaw, do show me where Dr. Carstairs was found.
Scalpel. Well, there's something there. Brown bottles. I swear it's over there. There it is. Oh my gosh, I would not have seen that. I'm too far away. Can we find these again? Yes, we do. Of course. Cars. Nope, that's not needed anymore. Even though it would make sense to look again for those. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Oh, we're looking for bell ciphers. Oh, bell jars. Is that a bell jar? That's a bell jar, apparently. Not what I clicked on, but okay. Oh, is this gonna be okay? No, we're good. Just one of these. We found a book. Even though I wasn't looking for it. Oh, there it is. I'd like to get like something like answer what's inside. Oh no. What are they doing to the dude? Are they different? It's like I'm going to point to this. Watch me point. Watch me point. Watch me make a hieroglyph. Oh, they're holding hands. They're best friends. Are you flipping them off? Bro, it's not okay. Oh, there it is. Thank goodness. Perhaps Carstairs knows to say more about his investigation. Wait, what was it? Oh shoot, I didn't pay attention to what they said. Match hieroglyphics friend's apartment. Oh, I was like, wait, what was I supposed to do? At the heart of the sacred seems very cryptic. I read on this page, the plants. They use something in the plants. Strangest of all, the heart coming out. Or something going in. I must see for myself. Okay, I was worried. He has jewels. Oh, scars. It doesn't say if they have a scar. You just gotta look at it. Oh wait, I'm here.
Perfectly splendid.
Perfectly splendid. Hat, coat, bill cipher, arm. What do you call that? Knife. Ankh. Vase. Brown bottles. Coffee pot. What is it called? Dagger. What is it called again? Let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. Up, you were the
nice
first to
work.
Go. Who's
Perfect.
Aww,
That's it.
I've been funny as heck, man. It was the mummy.
Dr. Carstairs' scalpel opened a pod placed in Ananthotep's chest 3,000 years ago when he was mummified. The pod expelled a toxic plant derivative. When he opened the pod, he inhaled the toxin.
Its hallucinogenic effects produced his paralyzing fear,
So, the culprit was, in fact...
with a trap prepared millennia ago.
Congratulations!
Interesting. Well, that is the first shelf done, and now we have 8 more to go, I believe. I guess that'll be for the next one. I'm gonna have to go over one of these. I don't know which one. Does it say? Ah, so it's this one. So I think I'll go in after I stop recording and then go and try to find the hat real fast. Just so that we have all of them. But that was interesting, especially this one. That one was really good. That is pretty much it. There's 221 Baker Street. They just be gliding, you know, they be vibing. People be vibing. But I guess I'll do that. I'll do that for today's episode of The Lost Cases of Sherlock Holmes. I'm really enjoying playing this again because it's been a while. I mean, it literally has been a while. I don't even remember most of them, but when was it? This one? The monkey. That was so funny. That actually was him. I didn't remember what it was. But that was just too great. So basically we need to find the rest of these caps to unlock this, which is a laboratory bonus game. And we have to actually go back to certain books, I believe, and then we find certain clues to completely finish the game, which I'm really excited about. Unless there's also, this game is kind of like this, but it's not Sherlock Holmes. It's a game made by the same people who made this, and you get a bunch of these type of things where it's like in every single one of the episodes, and then you unlock it to where it's not timed anymore. So I'm not sure if it's like that or what it's like. Either way, I guess we'll find out, because I don't think I actually ever did get the laboratory game. I think I just got all the books done. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Hold on a minute. I didn't have this on the whole time. That's okay. Tip of the hat to you, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!